Well, hello, everybody. I'd like to talk a little bit about the next speech you have coming up, which is actually your job interview. Now, I think job interview is probably the first big speech that you will give once you get out of college. Some of you will give a job interview, of course, before you get to college or while you're in high school for smaller part time jobs, probably. I am focused more on the big job interview you will have when you go after that first big career job. It is very important that you know how to sell yourself on a job interview, that you are able to talk confidently about yourself, and that you not only give great answers, but you give a great appearance as well. So let's talk a little bit about what I'm going to be looking for. Have that person sitting off camera so that I don't see them, but that I can hear them speak clearly because I will need to know what question it is you're answering, of course. I will need you to look directly at the camera, not at the person. It might be good if you sit the person almost right in front of you, but then the camera in front of that person. That way, you will be staring at the camera when you're speaking, just kind of like I'm doing now. Do you have to maintain eye contact 100% of the time? Of course not. You will glance off and around and up at the ceiling and down at the floor occasionally. That's normal. So don't try to stare completely at the camera all the time. Let's go for a more natural look, but you will want to make eye contact most of the time. I will need to see all of you. Right now, I am not seeing all, you are not seeing all of me. You're seeing from the waist up. I would like to see all of you while you're answering the question because your posture is very important during a job interview. It says a lot about you. Typically, you will not be sitting behind a table. You'll be sitting in a chair in front of people, and they will be able to look at all of you. So remember that images are formed during an interview. People will look at you and will make judgments about you, not only with the answers you give, but by the appearance you've chosen to give during an interview as well. So it's very important that I see all of you. Do not stand. I need you to sit. Most job interviews are sitting. When it comes to your answers, I have provided answers for you that are general examples in the questions I listed, the top 25 questions. Don't memorize those answers and give them back to me. These are just general guidelines to go by. I need your own answers. And do not write these answers down and read them to me off a piece of paper. That is not having a conversation. That's not having an interview. That's you telling me a story. So I need you to be able to talk off the top of your head. Will you mess up? Yes, probably you will, but so do people in job interviews. I've never given a job interview or sat through a job interview that was absolutely perfect all the way. We're human. We make mistakes. We don't rewind and retake when we make a mistake in a job interview. We keep going. So that's what I want you to do. I don't want you to stop and start. I don't want you to memorize answers for me. You, of course, need to know kind of what you're going to say in your head before you say it. So some preparing is necessary. Some practice before you actually film the video is necessary. But again, I warn you, do not read answers off a sheet of paper because it sounds like you're reading answers off a sheet of paper when you do that. Practice your answers so that you have a very conversational tone, kind of like we're doing right now. No distractions. I'm sitting in front of a wall right now with a window behind me and a photograph or a picture and a lamp behind me. This is simple, basically. I don't want you to have just a blank wall behind you. Have a little something behind you that is not distracting. Don't have a fan above you turning around and around. Don't have lights that are blinking. Don't have any music playing in the background. Keep it nice and plain and simple so I can focus on you. Now, how will I grade you for this? Well, I want you to pay very careful attention to what you're doing here because this will be a little bit harder grade than your first speech was. You gave some very good first speeches. I was generous in some spots when I should have been a little more severe in grading your first speech, but overall they were very good speeches. No one had a bad speech. So I hope you were happy with your grade because you did a very fine job. But now that we're moving into job interview, I'm going to grade you a little more severely than I would on your first speech, of course. And when we get to the third speech and the fourth speech, I'll be grading you a little more harshly on those as well because you will want to make yourself better and better with each speech. First of all, I'll be looking for a conversational tone. If you do not have one, if you read off a sheet of paper or you sound like you memorized an answer, that's not going to get you very many points. I want you to be able to talk as a casual conversation between two people. I will need you to smile during the interview. Not always. You don't have to smile constantly. But the first thing I should see is a smile. And you should smile throughout the interview. If you don't smile, you're not going to get the job anywhere. Watch your grammar. I will need you to have pretty good grammar in this. Yes, there are words we all say that maybe we don't put the ing on an ing word, or we say get instead of get. That's understandable. But I want you to be able to use words I want you to be able to articulate when you use your words. Eye contact is very important. I need you to look at the camera, look at me. I am your audience. I am your interviewer in this case, even though someone else is asking the questions for me. I need your volume. If I can't hear you, I can't score you. I also want you to look at your posture. I will be looking at all of you. More than just you're seeing me right now. I need a little more of you in the picture. Your posture, no crossed legs. It's a little bit too casual to cross your legs in an interview. You can cross your feet at the bottom if that's more comfortable. Men and women both can do that. But as far as crossing your legs one over the other, don't do that. It's a bit too casual. Of course, I will be looking at the setting, like this setting right here. I'll be looking at what you have provided, because what you provide is part of what you want me to grade you on. So keep it simple, be able to have enough light that I can see you, be able to be close enough that I can hear you and it doesn't sound hollow. That means when you get ready to submit your video, you need to look at it yourself and make sure that I can see you, because what you send me is what I see. So make sure what you send me is what you want me to see. Your appearance. Yes, I'm doing something that breaks a rule. I'm wearing a hat right here. In a job interview, I would not wear a hat, and I do not want you to wear a hat either, gentlemen. No caps or anything like that. I want you to remember that simple, classy clothing is the key. Now, do you have to dress up for this job interview? Should you dress? Well, it all depends. What kind of grade do you want? You don't have to wear a shirt and tie, gentlemen, but you need to look presentable. I'm wearing a black t-shirt and a blazer right now. This is a little casual for a job interview, but if you were to wear something like this, it would be perfectly fine with me. No t-shirts, no plaid shirts, nothing that makes it look like you just sat down and started talking. So be careful with that. Since I'll be looking at all of you gentlemen, I would suggest no blue jeans, and I would suggest you shine your shoes, okay? People judge you by your shoes, especially gentlemen when they walk in. The first thing they look at is your shoes. Ladies, when it comes to your appearance, please remember that you want to be modest in your dress. You want to be classy, not flashy. Don't go for sparkly. Don't go for anything that you would wear on a Friday night if you were going out with your boyfriend or on a date. You want to wear something that's a little bit more appropriate than that. Make sure it's not too low cut down, and make sure if you wear a skirt, when you sit down, it does not ride up too much. You want to sell yourself. You want to sell the ideas you have. You want to sell your intelligence. You do not want to sell yourself any other way, if you get my drift. So be classy, be simple, be modest, and be professional looking if you can. I will be looking at the completeness of your answers. Do not give just one-word answers. Never give a one-word answer in an interview that would make the person ask why. Why? Well, can you expound on that? No, give a complete answer. For this interview, I'm looking for maybe 4 or 5 sentences per question. Remember, you will have a set time to give an interview when you go for your first job interview. They will not keep you a long time, but you do want to get as many questions as you can. So keep your answers succinct, but keep them complete. I'll say that I'm going to ask on the score sheet, did you sell yourself? Did you give me somebody that I would want to hire for my company? Remember, companies exist to make money. I am hiring you to make me money for my company. So that's what I need to know. If you can sell yourself to me, then probably you can sell yourself and my product to my customers. And finally, the last question will be, would I hire you? That's a very important question on the score sheet. I will let you know if I would hire you or not. Probably the choices will be yes, definitely, probably, maybe, or no, I'm sorry, I wouldn't hire you. Those would be the choices that you would get. Again, I will give you points like I did on the first score sheet I gave you for your introductory speech, and it will be important for you to try to make sure you get as many points as possible. The first question will always be, So tell me a little bit about yourself. That is the first question you're going to get in any job interview. That is the time for you to sell yourself. That's the time to tell me what qualities you have, what you do, personality wise. It is a question to show me personality as well as provide me information. That will be the first question. Tell me a little bit about yourself. So don't include that as one of the questions you're going to send me to choose. The last question will always be, well, our time is about up. Is there anything we haven't covered yet that you would like for me to know? Or are there any questions you have for me? That is always the last question in a job interview. You will always want to say something when they ask you, is there anything else you'd like for me to know? Always have something you'd like for me to know, or reiterate something that you've said in your speech. As far as asking questions, you will always want to have a question or two about the company you're applying for. How soon will this position be filled? What are the qualities you're looking for in the person that you're hiring? That sort of thing. Since we're not doing job specific, you can just choose one or two simple questions. Of course, I will not be able to answer them, but there are questions I see that you will answer, and I will be able to see that you have the completeness of an answer there. So